are believing what we are conceiving. If you believe you are trapped, you will feel trapped. You will believe it into existence, and it will become your experience. Then you may have to find a contrary thought to kind of counteract or neutralize the first thought. If you stay in the emptiness, you can ignore all these things because none of them can surpass the emptiness. This is the purest of truth, I can tell you. If you identify personally, you are going to have to respond personally. If you perceive universally, then all the things that come, they come and go by themselves. The self naturally heals, just like if you receive a cut, you leave it, it will start to heal by itself. But a little patience is needed sometime. I don't want to fix anything because there can be innumerable ways of looking at any particular thing. But the best of all is to stay as the pure awareness itself. When you recognize this, you will observe that life takes care of life. Otherwise, it will be up to you to do it. And yet, at the same time, while you have the sense and the strong identification of a person, you cannot help acting and reacting and doing and so on. So, and then you will need advice, then you will need support. And of course, this is also perfectly fine. Maybe I just try to go always to the point, always to the center. If you're in the center of yourself, everything becomes fine. You will see the natural harmony of this universe. If you are in your person, you cannot see the harmony of the universe because the person always wants something personally. And the universe is not here to fulfill your personal projection. It's more that you must find your natural harmony and alignment with the universal consciousness and enjoy universal pleasure. But if you want personal thing, then you have to deal with the consequences of just personal identity and personal desire and personal projection. I speak a simple thing. We find it very difficult to come out of the habit of personhood. I'm calling it a habit, not a reality. I don't blame anyone, because it is the consciousness that plays this role for a while. It starts off saturated with personal identity. And then it must feel the impact of personhood, and then comes the aspiration to transcend personhood. But also in the stage where it is living as a person, it becomes a bit attached to person. Then the more you become attached to it, you can't see the illusoriness of personhood. It becomes a fact for you. So when the person is changing in ways that you don't want, it's hard to accept it because we feel threatened by change. That's the nature of personhood. But for the universal consciousness, change is natural. In the field of changefulness, everything changes, optionless. In the field of the pure, it is unchanging. So, this unchanging absolute source is the cause of the changeful play of life that we so much know as our waking state. In fact, your life in your mind is your waking state. And the activities and interpretations of the waking state. Nobody tells the story of themselves in sleep. You don't have any account about yourself in sleep. So your life is not a 24-hour day life. Your life is like a 12 to 16-hour day life for the regular person. If your name is George, you can only be George for about 12 or 14 hours a day. Because in sleep, there's no George. And waking up, then George. Sleep, no George. So what we call our life is just the memory of the waking state and the activities of our interactions in the waking state. We call this life. It's fine, it's fine. Every stage has its importance. As you mature, the life becomes much more internally recognized. You see all of this here, but where you experience it is here. You don't experience it there, you experience it here. When your attention turns inside and is not driven always to go out through the senses, you begin to discover your internal life. The more you look at your internal life, your life becomes eternal. The life of objects, names and forms, they're always changing. It has to change. But it is weakness from the unchanging. When you recognize the unchanging, the mind initially is afraid of the sense of the unchanging. And no one can grasp the magnificence of the unchanging one. The unchanging one is not like a stone that is inert and not changing. The unchanging one is the very source of life and aliveness and energy, and of all the joys and all that is contained. The quintessence of the waking state comes also from the source. When you discover yourself in harmony with the source, you are more than free. I just want to check in if this feels to you, well, there's a long way to go. Because sometimes I think, whoa, I don't get that. I have a lot more to learn. I've got so many things to put right before I can even begin to listen to what he's speaking about. I am not telling you what you're going to become. I'm showing you what you are. I'm not speaking about future. I'm talking about the timeless. Of course, I speak about time also. If you want to speak, sometimes people come and they want to clarify how they can improve situations in their family life and things like this, and they may have a word or two to share about that. Because there are many, many, many voices, also much more experience about these things than me, about how to help the family, how to I only try to show you yourself. When you really recognize yourself, not in the mirror, but somehow you recognize what you are, then you don't need anyone else to solve your problems. In fact, I don't think you have any. And yet you are not in a coma somehow, extracted out of life. You're very, very much in the heart of life. And not only just in the heart of life, full of warmth and openness, and in fully conversing with life, but not attached or addicted to life. So I don't want to speak about it so that it starts to become like a kind of belief or something, because it's too much here to miss. I don't want to speak about it. It would be like, trekking, walking through the Himalayas, reading a book about trekking. I want you to be in the direct experience. You're here. It's the mind only that has trouble with this. Only mind have trouble with this. Not just mind. Let's say person. Person, ego, mind. This construct has a difficulty to accept and to see.